Real Woods, senior world team member. What's going through your mind? I saw you run up into the crowd. You were celebrating with your family.
Yeah, just a lot of fulfillment. I'm just happy that I got the goal, got a good step of the goal, a big step in my goal of becoming a world and Olympic champ out the way, and I feel like I made a lot of adjustments. I had a lot of development this past year, and I'm proud of myself, and I wouldn't be able to do it without the people around me. So ultimately what's going through my head now is just showing all those people my love and like my appreciation. So right away after my match, I wanted to point at them, give them my appreciation, and run up in the stands, show them some love, and then of course all the fans and the kids and stuff. That's a big part of what I do. I want to be a good role model for the person that kids should aspire to be like, and someone I think that I just want to show some love. I just want to show love. That's what's going through my mind.
That was a real tough one. That was
Yeah.
very physical. Joey left there very bloody. I mean, you guys were going at it. So
Yeah.
talk about how physical that match was, and those 50-50 positions that were so close that you were able to get enough out of it.
Yeah. It's always physical. I mean that's the name of the game. So I was expecting to get bloody, get physical. I actually came out with a lot less wounds than I usually do. So that's funny. But as far as like winning in positions and the small intricate positions, I've practiced those. I've been there. I have really freaking phenomenal coaches that put me in those positions every day, and so I'm used to it. I'm ready for that. And it's crazy to say that because of how many positions you could possibly be in this sport. It's such a crazy art that like I'm in those, and like my coaches are just the top of the top, and they're able to make me feel comfortable in those crazy positions,
Yeah, tell us about the training situation. You moved over to Cliff
Yeah.
Dean. Coach Charlie just gave you some water so you can hopefully continue the conversation without getting too far.
Yeah. I was having trouble talking, but my move over to Cliff Keen, I had to take a step back after my college career. I think that I needed to sit down with myself and reflect on what I wanted to do with the next chapter of my life, because it's a big step after you finish college. I graduated college, and then I had another 2 years, and then I finished my collegiate eligibility, and then after that's a big decision. So I sat down with myself, and I decided that I needed a fresh start and a new beginning, and another shot at what I love more than anything, and what I love to do more than anything, and that's to wrestle. So I decided to seek out what I saw was the best club out there, and Cliff Keen is was that decision.
You talked about you're changing your focus to freestyle. Worked out pretty well for you.
Yeah. So it's so interesting because you change styles, and I've wrestled collegiately my whole entire life. Since I was a little kid, I hardly ever, if any, I maybe did some practices freestyle and Greco, and other than that, I didn't really compete coming up in my career. So transitioning late in my head at first seems like it would be like a hard thing to do, but knowing the sport of wrestling, it's all the same. So the transition felt to me very, very natural. The little things that I picked up in terms of technique, I feel like I was able to learn them at a higher degree because I already knew this, because I already know the sport and the feel. That whenever I learn those techniques for the first time, I'm able to lock in exactly the those little details that you normally don't see because you have all these reps and you have this habitual nature of hitting these moves, but maybe your technique's off just by a little bit. So learning that while having all that experience just in the sport was, I think, an advantage. So that's how I kind of twist it.
Thoughts on 65? It's one of the most competitive weight classes internationally.
Yeah.
And you go to Zach to take on best in the world. So have you given that any thought yet?
Oh yeah. I went to the first rank, or I don't know if it was the first, I think it was second ranking series in Albania, and I wrestled who's ranked number 1 right now, Amuzad Khalili, and I got to feel him out, and I become a better wrestler when I'm able to feel a guy out, feel my opponent out, and I think I make really good adjustments, and I'm ready to go get them. I'm ready to go get all these guys. One of the things that I came out with, my perspective coming out of that Albania tournament was that foreign wrestling, international wrestling is easier than I thought. You know, like they do have a weird feel, they do have a different style, but it's easier than wrestling Americans. So it's just about, you know, making those right adjustments technically and continue to develop as a freestyle wrestler.
Were you sweating out that challenge at the end, or were you pretty?
No, I was pretty certain that they wouldn't flip it, but you know, anything can go anyway. Although in my first match, whenever they challenged the 4 versus the 2, I was almost certain that it wasn't going to go my way, just because I don't know, maybe it's be able to make it a more certain win. You know, if it was a 2. Beyond anything, you know, although that's not really like how you judge things, you know, making sure points are points, but I had that in the back of my head, you know, make sure I really win the match, no matter the case, no matter the scenario, no matter what the ref, you know, leaving it up to the ref's hands, even if that happens, to be able to make it out on top.
And talk about that, because there's 19 seconds left in that first match, the restart, he shoots in, and just what did you kind of see there?
Yeah, you're talking about the last match?
Your first match.
Oh, my first match.
3-1, 19
yeah.
seconds left, and then he comes in on the line.
Yeah, man. I was asked about the same scenario in my World Team Trials match against Aiden Valencia, and it's just a matter of really continuing to move, continue to go, and make sure they don't get to rest, you know? Make sure that my opponent's not comfortable. And so long as I do that, I know I'm skilled enough to be able to find an opportunity to score. So that's what I did. I continued to move forward, I continued to fake, I continued to stay on the head, and I found a score.
You talked a little bit about, you know, how you want to be a role model for kids, and you know what it means to have that. What does it mean to wrestle at a Beat the Streets event?
Yeah, I mean, it's really fulfilling, because, you know, they're about the right things and they're about giving, and I'm about, you know, giving back to what gave so much to me in my life, and that's this sport and all the people in this community. So it makes sense, you know, it makes sense, and it's like I said, fulfilling.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Congrats.
Thank you.